Hi everyone, I hope all of you are safe. Welcome back to the Mental Health Awareness series with Mrs. Shipra Mokhe. So, today's video is about anxiety, and we're here to walk you through what you should do, what is the difference between panic attack and just anxiety, and I hope this will be beneficial to all of you. So, what is anxiety?
So we need to first of all understand what is the difference between anxiety and the basic emotion that it comes from. So out of the 5 or 6 basic emotions that we have, anxiety stems from fear, right? Now, while fear is a primary emotion which we can experience at many different situations and because of different triggers, anxiety is something which is not identified with a cause. So to make it very clear, fear is something that I know that, okay, I'm scared of a particular thing. For example, I'm scared of lizards, or I'm scared of, let's say, going out in crowded places or something like that. So I know that it's a very, very clear cut cause. But anxiety is a situation, or it's a combination of a lot of thoughts, like, cognition, emotion, which ultimately affects your behavior. So anxiety is not that easy to understand and identify. Fear is more clear, and that's why it's easier to identify.
Okay,
That's the very, very general difference between anxiety and fear.
what are some common anxiety triggers?
uh, Triggers actually will vary from person to person, depending on what makes a person nervous. I'm using the word nervous because it's a very commonly used word, and that is the beginning where we can identify that, okay, this is the point where I may get an anxiety situation or a anxiety arising attack, let's say, in the future, for the lack of better word. So triggers could be very many different things. Most of the times we know how to deal with our triggers, like for example, the famous fight and flight response.
Yeah.
So there are 3 ways in which we deal with it: either we fight with it, or we run away from it, or we freeze. So fight, flight, or freeze. So any of the or of these three we can, let's say, we can take up to cope with that particular trigger. But when we are not able to do that, and when we are unable to understand that, should I run away from it, should I fight with it, or should I freeze? And also when I start getting, my routine starts getting disturbed, or when I become dysfunctional, like I told last time, then it's something that we need to worry about. That's where anxiety comes into picture. So triggers can be very individual specific. It could be depending on the situation, it could be depending on the person, lot of combinations of things.
Okay, and how do we identify if someone is having a panic attack or we are having a panic attack?
No, panic, is a word which is used very often. But so panic attack is something, if you have to identify between an anxiety attack and a panic attack, they are very interrelated terms. So we cannot say that there are clear cut demarcations. But to, let's say, make it very simple, panic attack is something which will happen suddenly. Okay, it's not going to give you an idea that, okay, abhi mujhe panic attack hone wala. It will just come from anywhere, in any situation, probably, many times it's without a trigger also. So it's like, it will happen very, very quickly. It can last for almost 20 to 30 minutes. Within 10 minutes it has just shot up. Some of the very common symptoms of a panic attack could be, let's say, sweating of the palms. All right, there could be a lot of sweating all over the body also, especially in the palms, in the armpits, these, prominent areas. There could be heart palpitations, there could be nervousness, there could be dizziness, there could be, sometimes, people become, maybe they have blackouts, they don't know what to do. Sometimes in severe cases it may also be depersonalization, which means that I don't know whether I belong to this particular place or not. So it's a very surreal feeling. But it happens in extreme severe cases. Otherwise, panic attacks are like these. Shortness of breath is another very, very prominent symptom of a panic attack. So that's a panic attack which will, come suddenly, and it will automatically wear off. But when a person starts having panic attacks repeatedly, then it's a problem. So there are criteria for diagnosis, and then on the basis of that we can identify whether it is a panic disorder or it was just a particular episode of panic attack, and which may have subsided on its own. So it doesn't actually need, that medication or that. So it can go away along with the trigger. So once the trigger is taken away, the panic attack goes away. Or when the person has started dealing with his anxiety, then also the panic attack may go away on its own.
Could you give us an example where you faced a situation where someone was having a panic attack or someone was feeling very anxious, and what does one do?
Now see, anxiety with people with anxiety, there are very particular things. In my experience and in my practice, I have realized and I've noticed that people with anxiety are always ready to fight it. They actually want to get over it because it's not a very pleasant feeling. With depression, it's a different thing. So that's a good thing, let's say, from the therapist point of view, that if there is a person with anxiety, he would never skip his sessions. He would always follow what you tell him. So that's one very, very particular thing. Why? Because they are always, kind of, they're always very, very excited in a different way, not excited in a positive way, but there is a lot of nervous energy there. When commonly speaking, so if a person wants to identify that how anxious his thoughts are, so usually if they try to assess their thought pattern, and it all comes from the thoughts, like I told last time. So if they assess their thoughts, the thoughts would be like, I'll make a fool of myself. What if I fail? I won't have the time to do a good job. I am not good enough, right? Or people will laugh at me. What will they say? Then my survival. Sometimes, people start preparing for the future by thinking the worst. So I will be best prepared if I think about the worst possible scenario. So I'm going to die, and that is going to help me survive. It's a very weird thing, but that's how we try to keep ourselves safe. These are very, very common anxious thoughts, which can happen with any person irrespective of whether he is diagnosed with a disorder or not. So these are very common patterns or trails with which can lead a person to let's say acknowledging that, okay, fine, maybe I am moving towards anxiety. So these are the common things that I've seen. Another aspect is anxiety. With people with anxiety, they will always try to follow up things, but many times when there are certain suggestions given to them when it comes to therapy, there is a lot of cluttering in the mind because they think a lot. There's a lot of overthinking that happens there, and because it's not very sorted, it's difficult for them to actually follow the guidelines. So it's very important that people with anxiety practice mindfulness. Like I said last time, they need to be really, really taking care of their physical body. That's a very important thing, because anxiety is most often experienced and identified through physical triggers. Matlab, if I'm feeling anxious, then even if I don't know that there are anxious thoughts in my mind, I'll know that there is something happening in my body. So I know that, oh my god, I'm suddenly sweaty. Oh my god, I'm fidgeting. Oh my god, my palms are sweaty, or I'm having, let's say, shortness of breath. So I know that something is wrong. So it's very important for them to practice that calmness, practice that mindfulness. That really, really helps.
And what are some common remedies that you could suggest to prevent anxiety overall in long term? Some general structured.
Yeah. So, with anxiety, like I said last time also, there could be the medication or therapy for that matter. But yes, there are a few things that they need to do. There are a lot of common practices regarding, calming yourself down, like deep breathing is there. There is regular workout. Workout is absolutely essential because, again, it's all related to your body. You need to take care of your body. Water intake, keeping yourself properly hydrated, having good sleep, that's a very, very important thing. Having a balanced diet. All of these things work. There are also alternative ways of treatment which people talk about. Honestly, I don't have a lot of judgment on that, but I can also suggest, I can just say that there are a few quick tips which people can do. So if let's say a person in the middle of the night or sometime in the day, during the day, when he feels that I am going to have a panic attack, or this is a situation which I don't know what to do, so he knows that kuch to hone wala hai. So I have a very simple technique called as grounding. Now in this grounding technique, what they do is, like I said, it all works on the physiology. So what they have to do is they have to make use of those five senses that they have, the physical senses. So let's say I'm starting to have an anxiety attack. Maybe they can write it somewhere. Maybe they can remember it. Maybe they can put an alarm or something related to that. And they have to identify, sitting in a room, first thing is that they need to sit down, drink water, and then identify 5 things around them that they can see. So mindfully, I have to count 5 things. Like, okay, fine, I'm in this room, I can see the clock, I can see the cupboard, I can see my bed, I can see XYZ thing, whatever. 5 things that they can see, 4 things that they can touch. So since my clock is far away from me, I cannot touch it. But there are 4 things that I can touch around me. So I can touch my bed, I can touch my specs, maybe I can touch this cup, maybe, something like that. 4 things that I can touch, 3 things that I can hear. What would be the 3 things? I can hear my breath, for example. I can hear the sound of the fan or the AC or the cooler, whatever is working. I can hear the TV. I can hear my phone. Any 3 things, jiska sound unko sunai de. 2 things that they can smell. So maybe when they start focusing, then they start realizing that, okay, it smells funny, or it smells fine, or I can smell cookies, or I can smell a chocolate, or I can smell my coffee because my cup is right here, right? So 2 things that they can smell, and ultimately one particular emotion that I can feel. So exactly what is it that I'm feeling right now? I'm feeling nervous, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling frustrated, or I'm feeling angry, etc., etc. If
Wow.
they go on following these 5 steps, it's very helpful. The reason is that we are trying to move away from the thoughts, and we are trying to ground our body so that my thoughts become at a particular level where I can deal with them. The
Right.
whole point of therapy is to work on your cognition and work on the thoughts, but that's not possible when a person is actually having a panic attack or an anxiety attack. So
Right.
what do they need to do? They need to calm themselves down. And suddenly when a person is having an anxiety attack, you cannot actually sit and meditate. You cannot do om. It's very difficult, and it doesn't work with everyone. Maybe with some people ho jata hai, but not everyone can do it. But these things are very, very possible. So that is one thing that they need to do. Sit down, have a sip of water, have a glass of water, and follow this 5-step process. That really, really works. It's very important that they do that, called as grounding. In the long run, yes, on their own, what they can do is, which has really worked wonders, is thought journaling. People must practice the concept of journaling their thoughts. Why? Because if there is a lot of clutter in my head, and if I cannot separate one thought from the other, and we don't have a Harry Potter ka pensieve where we can literally take our thoughts and ideas and keep them, so that there is less clutter here. So वो हमारे लिए possible नहीं है. So what can we do? Then we create our own pensieve. So how do we create our own pensieve? You can be very artistic about it. Maybe you can create a box and write pensieve on that. I suggest this a lot of times to my clients with anxiety. That create a box, write pensieve on that, and whenever there is a irritating thought, write it down, fold it, and put it in that box. So it's there, but it's not in your head. So it's very important to journal your thoughts. It's very important to take them out, because unless and until this clutter is reduced, you will not be able to deal with it. So these are few quick tips which people can follow. But this grounding thing, yes, they need to really, really do. And then there are certain progressive muscular relaxation exercises also. They're really available on the website, and Google Pay available there, but they can look for that. So progressive muscular relaxation is another thing that they can do.
Okay, wow, this was very different, the grounding technique. I am sure a lot of people would benefit
Yeah,
from that. So yeah, that's all
yeah.
we have for today. It was a short video, but a very crisp one, and I hope it helped all of you. Please tell us if you have any feedbacks or reviews. We're very happy and open to welcome your reviews. So
Yes.
thank you for watching, and thank you for joining.